Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And on this episode, we are actually going to do something a little different. I am playing my Cleric, who happens to be level 21, and I am over next to Unrest, but I'm not going to be staying here. In fact, we are going to go over to Mistmoore, or at least we're going to try to. It is somewhat of a dangerous run, so let's go ahead and start our little journey. It does take quite a long while to get there. Now, I did go ahead and give myself invisibility versus undead, because there are a few guys out here that... Oh, there's something on the ground here. Let's see what this is. Ah, it's rusty. Nah, we'll hold on to it. So there are a few creatures out here that are skeletons that is kind of nice to have invisibility versus undead for, but there's also quite a few goblins out here as well that you got to be very careful with. And I kind of hate coming back this way because I keep missing the entrance to Butcher Block. I keep missing the little small area in the mountain that's very, very hard to see coming from this direction. It's very hard to see, period. And unless you're very familiar with that little area, you're going to miss it. And then you're going to go up and around in a giant circle. And as you can see right over there, there's a little skeleton. So if I didn't have invisibility, there was a chance he would have seen me, and, well, he's green now. But when I was first coming over here around level 14, they're pretty tough. And, yeah, they can, especially for a Cleric who doesn't really have the ability to defend himself very well. I mean, he can, but it's not very good. In fact, I don't even have any damage spells up right now. So if I got attacked, I'd be pretty much out of luck. I could root it and then try running away, but as we've said many, many times before, in Everquest 1, they don't ever lose track of you. They will hunt you down, even if it's 4 hours later. They will find a way to get to you, and they will most likely... Oh, no, a goblin. Dang it. Oh, crap, I'm gonna die. Let me see if I can root it. Yes, he's rooted. Okay, we're gonna gate, because we're close enough to Unrest that it's not gonna be that big of a run to get back. Come on, yes, we get it. Okay, but we're in the same zone, so now I have to zone it. And that's kind of what I was saying with this run. It is kind of dangerous. Now, I could cut these pieces out, but I kind of like you guys to see them. And a lot of other videos, when they get from one place to another place, they don't show you exactly how to get there. You know, you get to this point in the road, you turn left, turn right, whatever the case may be. They don't really show you that too often. And for me, if I'm stuck in a game or I'm new to a game like this and I want to see how to get there, you know, that's a very important piece for me. Instead of just reading online that, oh, you know, you're supposed to head northeast or northwest from the zone entrance. Well, yeah, it's helpful, but it's kind of vague, and it doesn't show me what kind of troubles I could get into along the way. And neither does always having a perfect run through that zone. You know, sometimes I want to see you having trouble so that I can see how hard those creatures that you're talking about that can pose a problem actually do hit. And that Tidal Lord was hitting me for about a bubble apiece, even with bronze armor, even at level 20. So, I mean, yeah, you could have rooted it like I did, and then maybe blasted a couple times and try to kill it that way, but it's really not something a Cleric should do. You know, if he might be able to kill the one creature and be perfectly fine, but if another one comes by, or another one, you know, he's not going to be able to handle three, and the first one's going to use most of his power, and so if he ever gets into any trouble, you know, further into the zone, that's going to be an issue. And so when I'm exploring areas with my Cleric, which I don't do too often for the nature of being a Cleric is kind of fragile, if I was going to explore a zone, I would do it with like a Shadow Knight or a Monk. They would be one of the best ones to do it with, because you can fatigue death and have a greater chance at, you know, going places that you may not survive otherwise. Let me see. Okay, that guy's skull's ready to attack, but he's green. There's a corpse over here with all the armor on it. It's a shame I can't do reses yet. Now, I do get revive at level 29, but that one's a no experience res. It just basically teleports them back to their body, which can be a great thing to have if they're bound really, really far away. And what you normally will find is tanks are one of the few classes that they have a hard time finding binds, because one, they have to have somebody do it for them, which means they have to pay somebody to come over to them and bind them in a certain location. And two, it's kind of difficult for a tank to get around in a lot of these towns and stuff like that. They can't just bind anywhere in the game. They have to be very specific, like only inside towns. And in some towns, it's so specific that you have to actually be close enough to the town and not just in the zone. Like over in Butcher Block, or not Butcher Block, Creative Fadar, you can be anywhere in the zone. It's going to be close by. I think it's right up there between those two pillars. So let's go around this little camp. But you can be anywhere in the zone and get that bind, where other ones you may have to actually go to the town itself, and that poses a lot of risk. So I see a lot of tanks at certain levels, especially higher levels. Oh, she just died. That has all her stuff on her. Some nice stuff, too. It looks like Golden Afridi boots or something. Oh, that sucks. A lot of dead people over here. This is a dangerous run, guys. Let's see, another rat. Oh, another goblin. And he's right in the direction I need to go. So I'm going to have to double back, come over here. Yeah, I think it's up this direction. As I said, it's kind of easy to miss, especially if you're trying to avoid creatures while you do it. Yep, there it is. I think. Yep. Okay, I am sure now. So yeah, if you don't have invisibility, that's going to be a problem probably for you, depending on what class you are. Again, if you're like a tank, tanks can, for the most part, solo a creature. The reason they don't do it more often is the downtime. You know, a warrior could sit there and he could probably kill pretty much any mob around his level. You know, maybe if it's even or yellow, he's going to have some issues, but and then again, if it's a caster, he may have issues as well because he's going to get blasted really, really hard. But for the most part, he should be able to kill that creature by himself if he has decent armor on and he knows how to play his class. But he's going to have to sit after that fight for like 20 minutes waiting for his health to go back up, which is why they don't do it. It's not very efficient. So if they can get into a group or even just a duo with somebody who can heal them a bit, they will usually go off in pretty much anywhere you want to go. So if you want to make a suggestion, let's go to this other zone as a healer or as a cleric, a lot of tanks will actually follow you because they don't care where we go. They just want you there, because without you there, the progression is so, mind-blowingly slow that you feel like a snail, and it gets to the point where you're just like, I don't care where I'm at as long as it's going faster than this. So, but then some of you guys are actually really, really into soloing even at that speed. So, I mean, maybe you're not the same way. For me, anyways, it was, with my Shadow Knight, it was just really, really tough to get. I think this is the right way. Yeah, this is the right way. It was just really, really tough to get past his penalty. He had a 40% experience penalty just for being a Shadow Knight. And so I had to earn 40% more experience to level than anybody else that didn't have that. And there's a few other classes that would have one. I think even Iskars have a 40% race penalty, maybe, because I heard if you played an Iskar Shadow Knight, you got like an 80% penalty for your experience. And that's crazy, man. That's almost twice the amount of experience you need to get a level than anybody else. And we're not even talking about, heck levels and stuff like that. We're really just talking about like level 1 from the start. I need twice as much. So if I start the game with a friend, I play a Shadow Knight and he plays a Dark Elf Cleric, by the time he's level 4, I'll still be level 2, maybe even less than that. So that's kind of rough to know that you're going to have to put in twice as many hours if you want to keep up with your friends. So again, that's one of those reasons they weren't really invited into groups. But the fact that they didn't have the ability to bind themselves was kind of tough for a lot of tanks. And so you will find that they don't even bother binding themselves close by. They don't even bother trying to find somebody to do that. They literally will just expect that somebody in the zone can res them, because you will see when they die and see the zone that they're actually bound, and they're like 15, 20 zones away, and it's like, seriously, why didn't you bind a little closer by? Well, because it's such a pain in the butt for them to find somebody to do that. They can't always do it, and even if they could, it's not really necessary, because as a tank, a lot of them will only get it into groups that have somebody there that can res them. If they know what they're doing. I mean, some people, they don't care one way or the other. They'll bind themselves close by. They'll get a friend to do it for them. And they're going there. And with my Shadow Knight, that's what I always tried to do, because as somebody who can fatigue death, it was sometimes, unfortunately, left up to me to retrieve all the corpses from a bad wipe, whether it was a train or bad pools or, somebody went AFK at the wrong time or whatever the case was. If we had to get back to our corpse, obviously a rogue would be better than anybody else, but you don't always have a rogue, in your group. And so we take advantage of whatever was available to us, and that unfortunately was my Shadow Knight to do that. So let's see, what level is he? He's green. So let's toss him a buff. Spirit Armor is the only one I have up right now. There we go. Just to be nice. Now, he may be AFK and he may not come back to his character until long after that buff was gone, but he could also just be looking through his backpacks, making sure that he has everything for the long run back to town, Caledon, for the little dwarf towns, but you just never know. So if you want to be nice, just give it to him. Now, my buffs really aren't as sought after during traveling as some other people's buffs are, like So or Sao, however you want to pronounce that one. Those are obviously more sought after than pretty much anything else, because it increases how fast you can run, and that's a very important thing. But I don't know, if my buffs tend to last quite a long time as well, so when they get to their location, they may be very thankful that they have them, but yeah, they have to get there first, and they have to get into a group or start getting ready to solo, whatever the case is, because otherwise my spells aren't really doing very much for them, But there's other people out there, like shamans. They have a nice strength buff, which is also kind of nice for a long run, because the higher your strength is, the more you can carry. And most people don't go back to town too often, because the places you hunt really aren't close by to them. And so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I don't really want to, but I put it off long enough. I'll make the hour-long trip back to town, or I'll try to find that teleport, and I'll pay 20 platinum or 50 platinum, 100 platinum, whatever it's worth it to you to get back to town, because you're so full up on all your inventory, or you're so overweight with platinum that you just have to get back to town and put it in the bank. You just can't put it off any longer. You're too overweight, and it's hampering your survivability in a group, because you just can't run anymore. You can't even move from one room to another, when you're actually traveling to the room in the first place. So people will make the trek back, but it is one of those things that is kind of a big decision to make during your average week. It's not a huge decision. It's not one of those character defining moments or anything like that, but it is something that you take seriously, and you're like, okay, I'll put an hour away, or maybe 2 hours, depending on how far away you are and all the stuff that you have to do, and we'll go check it out. So if you can get a strength buff during that time, that's pretty nice. There's really nothing else you need. If you have clarity or something like that, it's really not going to do a whole lot for you while you're running. Now, if you get into a fight while you're running, it's always nice to have all those buffs, the cleric buffs and the shaman buffs, and the definitely a clarity if you're running, because chances are you're not going to stop and meditate after the fight. If so, when you win, in fact, I'm going the wrong way, guys. So when you win, you're not going to stop and meditate, which means having that clarity on your character will help you, med up a little bit while you're running. Let's see, what level is she? Oh, she's red. She's not going to need my buffs. Not over here, anyways. Now, this is kind of a dangerous zone, guys. Make sure, in fact, I'm going to put invisibility on versus undead when we get to the other side, but there's some high-level brownies in here. There's some high-level dark elves in here. So you need to watch which way you go. Now, Mistmoore is on the southern west of the wall, and we're coming in from the northeast. So we need to turn ourselves to the southwest. Let's put on our sense heading, which is going to be pretty horrible. In fact, we may have to push it a long time before we see anything, but you can always follow the left wall. You can come down here and follow the left wall. That will take you to one more zone over. There will be an entrance there that you need to pass, and you keep following that wall, and eventually it will lead you to Mistmoore. There's several things on that path that are very, very dangerous, so I would not suggest going that direction. You can also follow the right wall, which is even more dangerous, because that's where they have a brownie village that's kill on sight to pretty much everybody. And I'm facing west. Okay, so I want to face this way. But yeah, it's pretty much kill on sight to anybody who's not a druid in wolf form. So you do got to be careful going that route as well, but it will get you there. Now, I am going to head northwest. Now, there are some dangers to doing this as well. There's some roamers in the zone that are quite dangerous, and we will perhaps travel past some of the camps if we are heading in the right direction that I think we're going to head. So, southwest, okay? So that's the right direction. We just need to keep heading in this one and hope we don't run into anything too dangerous. Hold on, let me con it. Okay, so it doesn't see us as threatening, so we're fine. Want to keep heading this way. Now, you can use the paths to some extent, but not really all that much. Keep that in mind that the paths are not always the safest route to take in a zone like this. Well, let me see what this is. Considers you kindly. Okay, so we're fine there. Keep going this direction. So I am heading in the right way, southwest. Now, what you're going to be looking for is a collapsed or destroyed druid ring. There's going to be pillars on the ground and things of that sort. That's what you're looking for. It's right outside the castle to Mistmoore. Now, this is a zone that I never really went to all that much in the original game. I went there twice, I think, and it was just at the entrance. And every single time I zoned in, there was massive trains for like 20-30 minutes. And that was enough to put me off of the zone and be like, yeah, I'm not staying here, you know. And so I would go back to Unrest, or over to Antonica with what was the name of that zone? High Keep. That was another good zone to hunt at this level. So there's other places you can go, and this one kind of just had the bad luck of maybe I logged on and went over to that zone the 2 times they were having a horrible day. I just got very, very unlucky running into that, but I think I might have hit the zone edge. Yeah, I did. Okay, so either we went too far or we're short, and we're going to run into it here pretty soon. Oh, yeah, we're short. It's going to be on the other side. There shouldn't be this camp over here. These guys are ready to attack. So we're along the wall. We're going to have to go off to the side a little bit and run around these guys. So what we wanted to do when we came in is go a little bit more to the right. That would have bypassed all these guys and put us a little bit more on course with the direction we want to go to. Now, this is more of a rectangular zone, and we were coming in from one corner going to the other corner. So yeah, it should have been a little steeper to the right to get us there. And I don't know why I pictured a square in my head, and I didn't do a hard enough right to get all the way there. So we're going to run into a few things. I think there may be one more camp along this path, and hopefully we don't die. Oh, there's one guy, and he's red, so that's a good sign. It's a good sign when you see other players. It means, though he must have been hunting these things over here. These guys are indifferent to me. Let's see, is this one indifferent as well? Yes, she is. Okay, so we're going to go by that. They're indifferent. Now, usually when you see another player, that usually means, not always, that you're getting close to a zone entrance. It could mean that they were, hunting in a camp nearby, but in zones like this, oh, there we go. That's the entrance right there. Those are the collapsed ruins. Let me check these guys. Oh, they're fine. So maybe if you're an evil race, you might have a difficult time coming over here, but most of these creatures over here seem perfectly fine with me. They don't mind me at all. And this is a pretty cool druid ring. I don't know if in the later expansions this thing ever became activated or not, but you can't teleport to this place. You kind of have to run over here. That's the only way to get here. So we're going to go ahead and end the episode here, guys. On the next episode, hopefully, with any luck, we'll be able to find a group. Now, this is a double experience day. It's been going on since Wednesday, and this is the weekend. It's Sunday. It's going to end on Monday. So when I first logged on, there was over 2,000 people on, which means that the zone will most likely be very, very, very camped. And I may have to sit there for some time before I can get into a group. But we'll see. Hopefully the next video that you guys watch will be me in Unrest for the first time, actually grouping and killing some stuff. Again, guys, I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoy these videos, please take a moment, hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow my channel, and I greatly appreciate that. Also, if you have any comments, any tips and tricks for the journey over here, if you came as a dark elf or an Iskar or an evil race, did you have any issues? Are all these people kill on sight to you? Or are some of these creatures nice to you because of that, like that Dark Elf camp? Are they nice to you? Things like that. Let me know your stories. And, just leave those comments below, and I'll make sure to get back. Again, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.